He's the one that saw the vehicle go jarading. Told my mom, yapaga le vehicle yakhona for hours. Bamyega because akunamuntu lapha so yenze rokasla. We're not gonna cause a noise. There's been understanding. Nkare, you know how it's written in, not written in God's word, but they're saying it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I guess maybe sometimes it takes a village to take a girl to rehab. And you said no. Mthandazo uyasebenza, guys. Let's just put that out there. Tapelo equals understanding on the part of people that under normal circumstances would have called police in anger. I told you guys that neighbors by ignore Amaga Rasli this time. Ask your man Kitina Tena with her hair being pulled by Ike. Agna Muntu or complain now about a disturbance of peace. It's like everyone is resisting because it's like they are aware that there's a mentally ill person living with us. And the quiet, shy type with the boyfriend or husband made a decision even though he stormed off with steam coming out of his nose not to do anything about it. I believe they got together and probably were like, let's just let it go. This woman is mentally ill. Wakula, she's sick. And let's hope that her mother and her sibling, everybody does everything for her that they can do. We can't put a person in prison or in jail. We can't get them arrested that has a mental illness. And so the quiet shy type was like, I guess. But yeah, they let it go. Lo and behold, what does this lady that frazzled a quiet shy guy that under normal circumstances is just chilling. He's just maxing out on a hammock. Yeah, Oporile, the quiet shy guy. Again, just like the other day coming into the house and agreeing to go to rehab. This time around she came into the house and we were like, we were expecting Uti she was gonna endure Amakaza for another 12 hours, but she came in the house. Walala. No, she's not dead, she's alive. Do you understand? Walala lomuntu at the time that she went to bed, pretty much 8:30. And when I woke up after sleeping, I get like at 8 in the morning, and then wake up at like 3:30. And lomuntu ulala esponchini in the lounge because all the bedrooms are used. And she basically needs to get her act together, get a job, get out of here, move out of mother's house, just like I need to do the same thing. But she's not doing it because therein lies a demon yet again. Demons be out here causing people to either stay awake all day without sleeping and so endanger their lives. Demons be out here causing people to chill in amakaza amanye way cold front, risking them with hypothermia and them strangely either not feel the cold, not feel the blow, or act irresponsibly to the cold or the blow that they feel, so as to endanger impilos out. Demons be out also causing people to sleep for 12 hours 24 and not 12 hours is not so bad. Like, I've done that before and I wasn't demon possessed, I was just tired or I was just lazy anyway. But like 24 hours 48 72 demons be out be causing people to sleep, waking up only to go pee for 4 days, lights out like a light. And life has to go on. People gotta work. People gotta basically master a certain age. You have to go and get your bread. Don't look at me not being able to get my bread. I'm trying to get bread. I'm just sitting on my chest. I do videos, I do edits. I have a routine. No manginga padali for this routine. When you wake up just to sip some water, pee, sleep again. I'm sorry, on that day you're like a haunting in the house. A haunting in the house. Do you understand? A ghost. And as soon as you sleep on a sponge in the couch, in the lounge area, it's the walking area for everybody, it's the seating area for wonke umuntu. So abantu kamele bangene endlini baphume orobetse mo fatshe mo sponging. That was my mom's final straw. When she came back home, amothola robetse mo sponging mo fatshe. She was like, yazen, the quiet shy type go zamme ya go lahlela ya go phoqa maga ya retractor taba gore batla go tshwarisa o robetse koloing 12 hours ka tsena ke go latile ka go nya mo koloing ya o robetse ka montle mo fatshe. The other day for a couple of hours wa tsena o kene ka montlung after a couple of hours. How qeta mo o bo ba rudu ko everyone o lahlela dintho. You stomped on malomo a complex ba go tlogela o ntse o senya vegetation. Mamela o sine uzohamba la kwamela uhambe khona. Uzophuma la ejardini uphele, uzophuma la uphele, unless you go to rehab. Kodwa my mom was smooth like Michael Jackson, like a smooth criminal. You brought some strong man to take her. You did not leave her. I get to feel this guy, and I was like, this time I'm gonna bring strong man, and they take you here. Can you handle the strong man that's gonna pick you up with their washing, put you in a car, and take you there? smooth criminal. Why I'm 17 next in? I am medical. Broken telephone. Ring. Can you hear me? Kya motho a plomile go broken telephone. Ask is no so. A plomile a robetse mo fatshe. And jaka ha plomile a robetse mo fatshe jana. Ne? Eventually she gets up, ha bona gore mo ignore. I ignored her the whole day. Until my mom came back, I was like, don't talk anything. My mom doesn't talk anything. But then she gets up and starts speaking smack to my mom. You took my keys, and so where's my laptop? I don't know it. So that's why girl, you could have watched TV. You literally could have watched TV. You could have done something. Even though moto laptop laptop, her car keys were taken because of the stunt that she pulled. With the stomping and the whatnot, because after doing stuff like that, she tends to drive off in that condition, right? And it just so happened, in that state, it just so happened that her laptop was in her car, so it got locked in there, and then my mom went to work. And then she didn't have a laptop, but she's got a cell phone. Like, proper. Yeah, I know. My mom had already made arrangements, but she didn't expect this level of crazy. On the floor. My mom, at least the people back at that rehab center that she has paid for, checked her into, I get for how many weeks. Bamlanda, because it's that kind of rehab, where it is that umuntu uyalandwa. If at all akafuna uyenza into enzi sense, uyalandwa. This old school type setup thing, or you're forced on into insofar as you get approval from the state. This situation called for approval from the state, from the magistrate court, and my mom got it. Approval, and so therefore she could not reject, because if she rejected, she would get evicted, and with success. And so how these guys are bad, she was busy yelling at my mom, attitude, like she's nothing. Mwaka atutse ali here. Half an hour yandlula. Next thing, you can either come gently, quietly, or peace, in single file like you're a nice little neat child, before getting it class. You can either voluntarily come in this van. It wasn't a van, it was a car, a regular sedan. You can either voluntarily come in this car, or we're gonna cook you and you're gonna come in. Make your choice. What decided ukuthi utlomena di shiti tsa gage di blanket and sponge akuke di bag tsa gage, they were already in the car, so she'd already packed a bag, right? What decided ukuthi uzoyenza izinto neatly, akazo screama akazo yella, because this time around yelling and screaming is not gonna do anything. Hatlo tswamona kicking and screaming, hatlo tswamona alwana mo complexing, hatlo tswamo mo jarateng. And Zara was resist arrest. It was not an arrest, but they were taking her to rehab gangan. So she made a decision, cordial, being the lady that she used to be. The lady came up and she was like, okay, I'll come. Wahamba peacefully. Bamtata packed the bags. Toothbrush. Now this woman, guys, she's doing weird stuff. Like toothbrush that's a blue, that's pinky, that's her toothbrush. It's like I don't know what's going on. Toothbrushing my 4-year-olds, dog. Like, that thing. So she's going to rehab with that kind of toothbrush. I mean, what are people gonna say? I tell her toothpaste moyo, and then she's like, her fellow inmates, if you will, are gonna be like, is that really your toothbrush? Her toothbrush is gone. Toiletries, including the child toothbrush. And she's in rehab. The toothbrush killed me as well. It killed me because she was complaining about her toothbrush being thrown away at the adults, the big one. And I personally threw it away, not out of malice. It was so dirty, that toothbrush, it was so dirty that I thought it was, you know how sometimes when your old toothbrush is finished off and you just leave it in the toothbrush basin and then it just gets yellow over time and starts to develop the cork, or people use it to clean these things more performance. So now this toothbrush because it had things in it that were just gross and it was a funny little color. So I thought that it was used for disepa and who clean, like my mom just kept it there for cleaning purposes, like scrubby toilet or whatever. And so because I thought it was for DIY, it was used for second-hand use. I complained, I didn't confess. And my mom did not buy some me either. However, I do believe why was her toothbrush like that? When you brush your teeth, because because you were eating whatever, and then you see the namatena lodge there, and so gather bacteria dibeng and also you rinse the toothpaste handle so your bristles are clear, and so you can use your toothbrush for a long amount of time. But when demons are all up in your grill and you're taken over by spirits, exacerbated by yet more spirits, like alcohol spirits, you won't see things like, I can't put something like this in my mouth, like this toothbrush is gross. You won't see that, okay, so meat has been stuck in my toothbrush for 4 days, it's no longer usable, I need to go and buy a new one. You don't see things like there's blood from my gums on my toothbrush that I haven't rinsed, so I need to throw this out. Like, there's just no hygiene practices, like just barely any anyway. And so you, like, basically you are just you're just a vessel, like a vacuous, empty, vapid vessel that's no longer there fully. You're not a person. Or you are being operated ingati you are a machine or a truck by entities. Otherwise umuntu uhambile, it's like the soul is just trapped. Do you understand? And that's what's going on. So ngalahli toothbrush yakho and we're complaining for a few minutes for messing with her toothbrush, and then she went to this game, I believe. And she came back with a kitty's toothbrush. It blue, powder blue, and it's got a small little head and it's got a hood. It looks like a boy's toothbrush. It's really cute for a child. And she bought it for herself. It's gone. Because she went somewhere. God. Abantu with whom she's going to be communing in those facilities, because I would imagine they share bathrooms. They don't have private abluting facilities unless it's very high-end and Larny, which I doubt. I mean, I believe it could be just like a regular middle-class motel if they don't have private ablution facilities, but they share like communal quarters where they sleep and on bunk beds with other rehabilitees. As a recovering alcoholics. Just be like, they're gonna see it's because of that. I know why she's here. It's that toothbrush. Toothbrush I mean, what in your right mind causes you to go to disc him and then thinking about yourself? We're taking toothbrush. What's going on? Maybe she bought it because it's that unique, it's that different, and so because it's that different, this time you're not gonna touch it. And yeah, anyway, whatever. And now she's going to rehab with that gangster toothbrush. Anyway. But long story short, it's been 24 hours and the lady with the toothbrush is gone for now. Uzobuya, we don't know when. Mara, there is peace, there is tranquility, guchulile, and there is hope and finger crossing on the part of everybody that this time around, because it won't be her first rodeo at rehab, that this time it's gonna catch. However, with her absence, this here then in lies the spiritual significance. At least not for the next month against me. The Lord saw that you were trying to kill her, do anything at all to slide into the DMs of a woman that is not in your life, that is not in your league. And so he made things happen in lockstep in a way so as to ultimately force her to get in a car and go to rehab. Otherwise, literally nothing was going to give. She pushed everybody to that corner. The whole complex is just basically gliding by, just surviving her. She's done things in front of them. You will remember the time when she parked at the gate. I told you that story, and parked everybody in. She stomped on the flowers. If she did not go to rehab, and so therefore gather for herself compassion from everybody looking in, if she maintained a stubborn demeanor, she was done for. And she was smart enough and sober enough in all that drunkenness to make a decision to just quietly go. Because listen, that day when I told her that you're gonna die in a car accident, even though she was drunk like a skunk, she hearkened. Something in her is still there. Something in her is a khona, is a pila, is a vuza, if at all it was a tap. And so for those reasons, Mara, the fact that you think you can do this to people just to get to a person, just to target umzalwane one. First of all, why is this even a world? And why do you even think it's sustainable? That's the first thing. And secondly, you are a most violent naive to think that there is no holy God recalibrating scales in the climate of this much nefarious intention so you can slide into the DMs of a woman. Umuntu osebenzisa toothbrush abantwana ufuna ukungireplaceela or ukungireplaceisa those living conditions. Uphila lo muntu ogriva abantu kangako nendoda ezongenza ukuthi ngikhiphe dinta from his head. Listen, it's the lesser evil. And futhi ngiyamazi lo muntu from the time she was a child. And so for those reasons, ngiyazi ukuthi this thing that she's doing is a manifestation. When amanye kuthule ubrigile already on the side of the street, ungamuvi, imoto yakho istaki, utela wonke umuntu une-rudeness. Angizwazi if Tepang was better as a 17-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 27-year-old. But now that he's 40, wahla. Because demon possessed. All I'm meeting is Tepang, the guy that has chock-a-blocked traffic and refused to move. All I'm gonna see is the guy omtlapang. All I'm gonna see is the guy that's manifesting heavy all up in my grill. Ngizwazi just that version, and so therefore there's gonna be that much more trauma. So when I say that what's going on la eJartini, the eerie, creepy, hostile takeover, and the poltergeist activity la eJartini is the lesser evil. Understand, it is the lesser evil, and there's an evil that I'm advocating on behalf of, and I'm able to succeed in that advocacy. Happy, because you've made observations of how well I intercede on behalf of family members and anyone else that I can intercede for. These men want me in their houses so that I can be like a pillar of protection that is full of prayer, so they can continue to sweetly do their rituals without being tormented by other occult practitioners. Bangifune emandleni abo uthi ngiyosetshenziselwa sorry indaba yokuthi ngiyathandaza gore batlotlhokomela batlotshireletso oswa. And they saw that protection, and they also saw all the other people are set free against their witchcraft. I've put them at a standstill, and they were like, this woman is going to be valuable in my house because utla rapella modimo sna taba le yena, and so therefore cover me. However, I'm going to be able to lamp-based le Johannesburg yonke. I'm going to be able to lamp-based le Gauteng yonke. I'm going to be able to lamp-based the South Africa yonke. I'm going to be able to lamp-based the Africa yonke. I'm going to be able to lamp-based this world without there being comeuppance on me, because I've got an interceding, advocating wife. Otlang rapella nko modimo wa badimo. Mara nna go tswela pele le Satane hore ke thole my bread buttered on both sides and to have my cake and eat it too. I mean, that level of ukuhlanya on the part of occult practitioners is what's actually eating you whole, and so causing God Almighty to bring forth the tribulation with breakneck speed. He is bringing forth the end of all things with breakneck speed, because this here is not sustainable. Men are not lovers of self, are lovers of self rather, instead of lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. And they are coming into the lives of Christian women by trying to kill their whole families, bringing them as prayer, like praying farmers, like a farm of praying saints, like literally farming saints. So you can put them in little kennels like chickens that are not free range, so they can mass produce eggs, and then you use these eggs for your occult rituals. Bafuna farmer Christian women, or maybe even men, and put them in occult practitioner households so we can be a praying hedge like the Iron Dome, while they continue to do nefarious magic. And so by mere virtue of wena as umzalwane praying, yonke household yakho is covered by that anointing, and labantu bafuna ukuleta abazalwane into their houses hore batlo rapella disata, because my older sister is a little Satan. Busy, what debla, o sense, what disenya. Mara ha tshireletswa keng. Ba bona the way ke protecta batho ba ko heso ka teng, even though they're not innocent, and they're like, I need that in my house. I'm gonna get me one of those. It's like I'm an infomercial for Christianity, right next to wickedness in the same household. Take me into your space like a Barbie doll, and I will cover you with an Iron Dome, otherwise known as prayer, and my God will have your back, even though he doesn't have your back, because I'm advocating for you as my beloved husband. Buy me now on 555-12347. Ganguti, you can buy me and put me in your homes, continue to do satanic magic, and have me be your hedge of protection. God sees all these things. He sees all these things. You think you can protect yourself from Baloi Bako, Deep Slotuli Bako, Haman Skral Kaufel by simply having umzalwane for a wife? God will strike you dead. Because when you are chilling as a wicked man that knows the power of God, when you're chilling as a wicked man that knows God's power, right next to to righteous men. You're like one sitting slap bang in the center of the Ark of the Covenant. And so when you touch it, you get stricken dead. Therefore, when you bring a Christian woman into your household and all you can do are occult rituals, and then use her iron dome to protect you from other occult practitioners, you will die. You will personally be stricken, dead, and that Christian will then on that day be for you like a golden calf. You will remember when the Hebrews in the wilderness built a golden calf, what Moses said, what God said. Let me eliminate these people and I will make you a great nation, Moses. Moses then advocated and said, people will then say, you brought the people of Egypt out of Egypt, the people of Israel out of Egypt, only to kill them in the wilderness. For your own name's sake, don't kill them. And then he spared their lives. So long story short, when there is a righteous man and wicked men are to be building golden calves, God can strike you dead unless that righteous man stands in the gap for you. And since I don't like you, since understand the day would arrive when you're dealing with a man that you liked at first but then you hate at last. When you're unlike Moses, God wants to strike him dead with his gangster golden calf in the house. And you're like, take him and make me a great nation. That's how the God of the Bible works. So he is not to be mocked. He is not to be mocked. You cannot take a saint for the sake of all the power that they have and continue with your witchcraft. And so get a mixed masala of a nonsense, a structure of a statue of whatnot in your lives. You worship that which ought not be worshipped. It is consecrated for the sake of God. It has been put up for God's glories, like the ephod or the epod of Gideon. But then you Israelites then worship it, and so cause an abomination to raise up to the Lord on high. You constantly take God's awesome vessels like human beings and you try to make them golden calves. You've made out of me a golden calf that's going to be sitting and praying in your houses. The Lord will kill you all and make out of me a great nation. That's just what the Lord does. You're naive to think God is going to ride out that level of patronizing his power, his might, his splendor, his glory, and his mercies. You're crazy. So then, in speaking that, do you see how occult practitioner men make absolutely zero hollow note and ash sense for anyone at all? It's 8:56 in the morning. I need to finish and I'm exhausted. I'm bushed. Do you see how any of that don't make no sense? Do you see how a man says, you're my perfect fit, you're gonna be my golden calf praying all night long in my house, so I'm protected? And it's like you're wearing a tsupna, you're wearing a somnganga, you're barely dressed in the mall, your pendulous breasts are offending everybody. People are taking photographs of you in secret and they're gossiping you in corners, trending your stuff on Twitter, on X, and then you rock up in these uneasy streets and you think that just because you are not being arrested for public indecency, that what you are must be okay. No, I will rebuke. I will call out, I will speak out, I will lament, I will moan, I will groan. I will make it clear that this here makes no sense. And if at all you get psychophants supporting you in your nasty disposition, you are no different from Tani Cassandra's family who let her go out in public like that. Abantandi. I want to that let you keep on bewitching your into Lam Katwen, that kind of root for you, that hope that you go and you get that Christian girl and bring her low. People who are out here trying to kill Abel as Cain. Abantandi. And at the end of the day, Nonke, you are going to sink into the flames of hell. It'll only be the one person that's brave enough to go to Tani Cassandra and offer her a shawl at the bicycle. Because she's naked. It is the one who loves her with open rebuke that offers her a garment on her nakedness that is going to be regarded with favor in the sight of God, and that might actually be met with gratitude from Cassandra. And some thank you for saying something, because my conscience was slapping me silly anyway. It's just that I was living in such a seared world that I thought they were proud of this, but frankly, I want to wear more. You don't know what your evangelistic feats might achieve in the life of a naked lady that wants to put some clothes on. Mara, because she's living in a place or a space or a nature or a country that is basically congratulating her and rewarding her for insanity. She's staying dark. You don't know what trying to speak sense into people can achieve. Therefore, keep on being sycophants to men who want to marry women like me by force when I'm so pure and they're so filthy. Keep on keep on trying to slide men into my life that are gonna insult me and say, look, I need to make a decision fast. I'm gonna shoot my shot, because what if I miss my opportunity with Karabo and it turns out that I made a mistake, but he's uncertain as to what's going on with me, and so later on, don't offend. He's going to insult me because he will feel when he meets something that he imagines to be better than me, that Ishsan, I should have waited 5 more months. Ishsan, I should have waited 1 more year, because then I would have met a perfectly vital, healthy, vivacious 28-year-old version of Karabo, because the one that I took was geriatric and like sour milk on its way out on the shelf, but I took it because I loved its fascinating personality and I was scared I was never going to meet another one like her again. And then when another fascinating godly woman rocks up on the show, you're going to be like, oh snap, here's a 28-year-old version of Karabo. And so hate me. My husband is not going to have qualms with my age, neither my socioeconomic standing, if he is coming, all right? And also, he will not out here imagine that anything better is coming, because I sought the Lord's face to make sure that my husband will know that no one compares to me, at least for him. Not so much for all women on earth. I'm not trying to be the best woman on earth, only the best woman to my husband. So if at all you are trying more and leaving there, you're not my man. Is that basic? But you see, that's the thing. I don't even know if this man is coming on the side, because I thoroughly believe the rapture is happening, but I also thoroughly believe that I might get my life anyway. These things are dichotomous conversations. Things could go either way. Springs of water will flow in whichever direction, depending on people's decisions. Will they repent or will they perish? But if you decide to perish, listen, I'm still getting 100-fold over all that which I have lost, and in the next life, eternal life. Because you did give me 100-fold over persecutions, didn't you? You did. Here's a shawl, Cassandra. Will you take it or what? And if you don't want to take it, honey, you don't got to, but you're naked in the mall. And don't nobody like that stuff because they're taking photos of you. They're laughing at you. But the one girl that comes to you in your face, that's love, even though you might ngapela her for daring speak to you about a right you have to wear whatever you want to wear. These men think they can wear us as Christian women as the perfect fit. Mara kiri somngang, kiri tsompa, kiri tsupna, maybe in tsompa too, because it's right here like a hag. Di tsupna, ke somngang, monna o sa go tshwaneleng, o monnyane, and you're getting married thinking, finally I've walked down the aisle. Mara I say ke go fraza later on king. Manifest later on king. I live with someone that's always manifesting demons. Listen, I cannot deal. It's bad enough dealing with that one in my jarata, and it's a female. Indoda izongi kwaza. Indoda izongi ngizoibulala yona self. If at all he don't kwaza me first, indoda is going to wreak havoc in my life. And futhi amadoda ngifunayo abaningi. You're greed. They're married. They're married men, or they come from marriages. And it's like, listen, I'm waiting on God, and I'm not trying to dishonor him. I want my crown of righteousness. You are trying to make me lose it. And God said that, don't let nobody take that crown from you, O Philadelphian church. I'm not going to barge. But those of you that feel like I'm too strict, God gave me Luke 16. This is the Bible, and if you call me strict, it's only because the Bible is strict. I guess God is holy, right? And holiness is just that, strict. It's a rod. So why would it be loose anyway? Luke 16, that's what the Lord RJ be giving me. And I'm going to, in closing, read you Luke 16. And I'm also going to, in closing, read you Luke 16, but not all of it, only up to divorce and remarriage. And then I'm also going to read you one of the Proverbs telling you what happens to women who who call men to their courtyards that are married, who cause men to commit adultery. I'm not going to be her, and neither am I going to, congratulate any man that is standing with her, because everybody in that equation is going to shield. Mara, before Gifetza, I wanted to tell you about Sanele. That guy was cute, he was fly and all that jazz, but he was rude. One time, I get another voice and I wanted him high and low. Mara, every time that I hung out with him, he would insult me. The one time he comes to the office that very day, when he calls me and is like, Karabo, and I'm out just screaming because his voice was so deep. I walk with him to phase 2, to the auditorium where he was having a meeting with his team, abantu bakhe from that side of life. The other people within his department, within his speciality, his field, his business unit, subject matter, they were having that meeting on that side of life. And as I'm walking with him, I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect you to call me here, because you know, the other day you said you would call, or basically I held him to some promise that he made on some, I'll call, or I got you, or whatever, and then he didn't. Because I get it, he was busy stringing me along. And then he said to me, I don't owe you jack. Like something along those lines. Like that guy flat out with that candor said to me, I don't owe you anything. I literally like this guy. I have a crush on him. And I had to smile and say, aha. I mean, I'm not saying that you owe me anything. I'm out here making excuses for the fact that he just rudely spoke to me. It's just like that guy that's returning flowers to a lady. Like, you don't get to talk to a woman that you have yet to embrace, caress, a woman that you have yet to take on a date, pay for the lunch off. You don't get to speak to her like that before you can even take her on a date. And he was like, I don't owe you jack. Run. That was the first infraction. The next infraction, this Rudo, we'll call him Rudo. Sanele the Rudo, because he was just rude. The next infraction was the day when he picked me up to go on the date. I'm in his vehicle, I'm car sick. I do get car sick when people are driving me and I have to scrunch up. I feel kind of weird in cars, okay? And he was driving and I told him that, whoa, I'm starting to feel some kind of way because I'm car sick. And he was like, yo, don't vomit in my car. Lack of compassion, cold, rude. Strike 2. Random Okibi Archer hitting me with strike 2. The day after that date at the stadium, because we went to go and watch a soccer match, all right? The day after, because he was entertaining clients, that was his job. I don't want to say what his job was because it might just give too many details about him, but he was entertaining clients, okay? Yeah, this guy, stadium date happens, whatever, that is largely cool. Like nothing of him is giving like weird and rude. When I right in that whole time, but then the next day he had left his wallet in my purse, my bag, because he had asked me type setup thing. I lebala, right? And the next day he was coming to come and fetch it. Yeah, his wallet, not a purse. And I met him at Clearwater Mall. And when I met him, I was wearing a small little kitten heel. The day before, however, I was wearing flats because we were at a stadium, right? This particular day, this guy is tall, so I can afford to wear a kitten heel because besides, we're not going on a date. I had come from church, it was Sunday. Here it is that I'm at church and I'm out here messing with somebody else's man. That was the beginning of my faith. I was not saved in this particular moment. I was interrogating the things of God. I was not solid in my conviction, so I had not yet surrendered. Hence why I was busy still messing with that guy, but I certainly was being convicted of sin. So I had gone to church and how I wore a mini skirt to church, a mini dress. It was a mini dress. It was a dress. It wasn't a skirt. So I mean, I had a lot of refining to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this mini dress, I'm looking really cute in it. I'm meeting this guy at Clearwater. I'm offer his wallet, and I give it to him, and he's like, but I'm still shorter than him though. But I am taller than that height. I'm a tall girl. I'm 1.75 meters tall, so you can understand this guy's really tall. And I was slightly taller than yesterday because I was wearing a kitten heel, but I was still shorter than him. And in my heels, right, that's what I wanted in a man. Like a man that's, I'm tall, and if at all he's going to be taller than me, heel, then that's my guy. Well, that's one of the characters I wanted in him. One of the bullet points I jotted down, giving to God, about what I wanted in my man, and he was that guy. He fit at least that criteria. And looking at me like I'm an Amazonian freaking Nephilim monster truck of a big girl that it's just gonna get all up in his grill. And honey pumpkin, I keep about where are our boyfriends gonna come from if not from you? You're the tall one here. You're supposed to be our boyfriends because all the short chicks got the short dudes. And like, we can't be out there hanging out Laurel and Hardy with these small little men. Who a boyfriend, you know? Whatever, height. I didn't say anything. I was just like, I'm wearing kitten heels. And he's like, oh, uchuishi lele ndotalena. He was like, uchuishi lupuma gupi. He was wearing a casual outfit, right? But I was at the mall, and even then, I got to a point where when Christmas is about to receive a present, got a tutu dress. I was rocking an outfit that anyone at a mall as well would rock, right? So basically, whether or not I had gone to church was irrelevant. Bottom line is, I could rock that outfit in the mall. Yet, for basically overkilling in my outfit. You thought I looked cute. Today, manje, you're dissing my outfit, and you know I'm all about fashion. So when you start to mock my fashion, and I got taste and I got style, when I didn't train you, that's hostile. You're just mean. You're just mean. He was like, that one I let it slide. I didn't even answer it. I said I'm wearing a kitten heel. That's why I'm slightly taller than yesterday. And then he's like, oh, fancy as well. Did you go to church or something? He was just so mean. He was so rude. I was like, yeah, I went to church. And I started to be solemn in speaking to him because I realized Uti was passing me attitude. And when I said I went to church, he was like, oh. And he rolled his eyes literally. Oh, I'm sorry, dude, you're so cute. But your mind is not ready. And you are rude and you are used to being adored by women. And so for those reasons, you think you can just roll your eyes in front of a woman. Say to a lady, I don't owe you jack. Say to a lady, I won't model licking you looking like a freaking Nephilim. And have her just take all those blows in her stride. But you see, I was so besotted with this guy that I was trying to take those blows. But later that day, not later, but basically later that night, I saw him on Facebook with his girlfriend going somewhere on holiday. And I was just like, guy, come on, I can't deal with this guy. Futi urud. And I ended up getting back together with my ex. Because we were broken up during the season of me going on a date with this guy. I got back together with my ex, but I was unhappy with my ex. My ex broke me, and it was frankly my breakup with my ex that caused me to cry out to God finally for real, instead of being kind of insincere. Yeah, one guaga that way, go clear water, fine. So he tells me, and then he asked me, I'm like, yeah, I come from church. He's like, oh, rolling his eyes. And then I tell him, look, you're gonna have to pay for parking if at all you parked on their side. He's like, oh, then please to where it is that we... So he's talking to me now normally. Kupon carpet to where it is. that we pay for parking. So I walk with him to where it is that he parked, because he had parked quite far, and also to the paying station. And as we are walking towards the paying station, he then looks down at my feet again, or at my legs, like, see? I get I was wearing a mini skirt with some stockings and what do you call this thing? And a mini dress, right? I'm rocking this really cute outfit, but I mean, it was worldly. I was still kind of fleshy. I was yet to be convicted of modesty. Mara, for a worldly guy, he'd be thinking, girl, you're looking fly. Like what? Like, yo, hey, yeah. I was basically, by the standards of this world, looking sexy. Typesetup thing. He should not have had any negative commentary pertaining that. Instead, he looks down at me as I'm walking next to him. So when I first meet with him, I get a move there where he's standing, and then I go towards him. I talk to him, so then we walk together, and now we're side by side, right, like that. We're side by side, and now that we're side by side, as I'm walking with him to the pay station, then he looks down as we are talking about whatever, and then he's like, yo, hi, you're really kind of tall, hey? I like my women short. Sure, dude. You just basically said, I can't deal. What the heck, I was a fornicator at the time. So if at all I had ended up dating this guy, I was going to end up sleeping with him at some point, and then he was going to mock my lanky legs in that department. It's all I could think about. Listen, dude, you're going to mock me naked because you're mocking me clothed. What in the world? I can't deal. You are mocking umzimba wami ngigqokile. Uzongenzani? When you see my stretch marks on my palm, what are you gonna do when you see anything else that I have an insecurity with? Uzongilanza. I just got this, like, I got showered with insecurity. On some, this man is going to diminish me, but I liked him so much. However, like I said, because of his but because of his trip with his girlfriend, I made a decision. I'm getting back together with my ex, Lozonglimas, and then I started to give my life to Christ. That's when my ex and I broke up, blah blah, and the rest is history. Yeah, that's this guy. That was the last time pretty much I chit-chatted with him much anyway. He tried to, when I left Facebook, be like, where you at, Karabo? Because he was always surveilling me and whatnot. But then that's when I started avoiding him, and he was aware that I was avoiding him. That's when he then turned to witchcraft where I was concerned. And that's like still to this day, since then, at least in my old content here in the space, that do like me. Maybe they might have even loved me. However, they could not love me. Love me, but you can't love me. In other words, they can't show me love. Love me, praise me, dote over me, appreciate me, respect my humanity, do all these wonderful and fantastic things, and I will feel appreciated, and then serve you as my king, small k, because my king, big K, is Jesus. That's what I would urge be trying to serve a man concerning, because man, I can love, okay? That's why he's unable to let go. I can pour myself into a man. That's why I pour myself into Christ, because who easy with abandon, reckless abandon. That's why Christianity made such a perfect fit for me, like some beautiful outfit hanging on a rack. That's your perfect size. I am able to love. It's that basic, especially in a romantic space. And this guy, I was going to pour myself into him, and he was going to keep on insulting me like this, and I was going to take those blows for as long as it would take for me to stop Shanghai, as long as it would take for me to stop taking whatever, because I really like him, I love him. Until nivuga. And ukuvuga manje sometimes causes so much scorn and so much wrath in a woman that she's unrecognizable. After giving him 1 child, 2 children, 3 kids, after 5 years of marriage, or being a side piece, after 10 years, on the day when I would wake up, as a woman, I would be diminished, and I would no longer be the virtuous lady I was at first, or the fresh and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, coy, sweet girl that I was. I would now be mean-spirited, angry, and bitter and jealous at everyone, because my boyfriend or husband, this guy, I don't know if I would have ever won him over, because frankly, the woman that he was with, I don't think megamtanda. I had so many dreams showing me that he was in it for imali or whatever. That's in a feminist spirit. Like, why are you out here loving a woman's money? Go have anybody wealthy. So maybe that's why this woman lifestyle, jet setting, and he chose that lifestyle. So therefore, if I had been with him, I don't know if I would have won him over altogether. I might have taken him from that chick. But if this guy loved money so much, they would actually go on right ahead and string me along as a side piece while keeping that lady. Because I was Karabo after all. I was never gonna stay anybody's side, ever. Like, I don't know, I don't care how much witchcraft. If anything, I was gonna go back to my ex-boyfriend, because that nikele made monkey side piece nonsense. Menzo pumaku. Kodwa megangithanda enough that if we were to embark on a relationship, I feel very strongly that I would have kicked that chick to the curb. However, I've told the story before. I have told the story before. Maybe he was insulting me because he knew we couldn't be together, but whatever. I've told the story before. The woman that he was with, even though Nasang she knew that her man has some other woman had his heart, and then she targeted me. You're gonna have to go and listen to my videos preceding this one to figure out what to sanele mengubani. Like sanele, this one I'm talking about, you'll be able to pick up that right now. Kibwaka the sanele in that particular video. I don't know what name I gave him there. Okay, hoopies and banana peels. So long story short, these boys that look really good but their minds are not ready. You will jol with them, and then upon jolling with them, family, so they can come into your life. If at all they strive with you. However, if at all you are truly consecrated to God, God will salvage your family, rehab, and then say, what else you got? What else you gonna take out on my daughter? What you gonna bring? Because that you used to trigger my child is now out the way. We are healing her in a separate corner of the earth where she's not going to be afflicted by her entities as my daughter is praying. Now that you don't have my sister, what do you have? I don't know how long my sister's going to be gone. But one thing that is certain is that if she stops drinking, whether or not she comes to Christ, there will certainly be a restored tranquility, because it is the alcohol, it is the spirits in the alcohol that cause extra manifestation. So if this rehab works, halisana musebezi, halisana motholta mo berekang, o letla mo palamang ka re ke pere. Mara hali a se go iketsa di songanga di tonki keng. Akidike le bangata flooding from all corners of the earth. Anizongithola ever. Kodwa ukuzama is going to make you so below the belt. Nyoba so mean that I told you at the beginning of the tribulation yobulalwa some of y'all vigilantically because abantu bazobe bakhathele yini. This is what you will have done to the earth. Leka se tlo senya bekamoso ya batho ga botloko gakana, leka se tlo senya planet a botloko gakana, and expect that God got your back and that you're going to be okay, cool and collected and calm kaosane. Lo lemal, lo trapiwa, lo tumpiwa, and babang balona halo phela to tell the story. So kopanje go le balla Luke 16 modimang phileng yona. In closing, o le tlhalosetsa gore modimo etsa if you've been stewarding his gifts, noma nihlukunyezwile, noma nihlukumezilwe ngabantu la emgaqweni, nizonikezwa i-reward yenu in full if you are a wise servant. Kodwa uzoqoshwa if you were an imprudent one. You don't get to grab God's daughter and make out of her an epod ega Gideon that people are going to worship in your houses when it is there for the benefit of your glorification and for your evangelism. I am here to enable you to get closer to God, not to worship me. Neither use me as a tool of protection for yourself in an occult ritual. Occult practitioners are ridiculous that way. They are to be grabbing Bibles and using scriptures as spells. They use the Bible as a spell book. And try and make an idol of prayer out of her or him. You can take scripture and make out of it a spell. So of course it's not beyond you, neither defeating in you, for you to kill a woman's entire family. Finally, you are that far gone. You are taken by Satan. You need redemption in and of yourselves. You can't continue like that. Mara indaba yokuthi nizama ukuyenza lezi zinto eziboleka buhlunga jena and anina ho halistopi. Akuna full stop, akuna comma, no hashtag, nothing. It's just a long winding paragraph. Indaba yokuthi anistopi. That's why God then is going to take us out of the way, and when then the restrainer is removed, nizobonisa so regresha ukuthi kwenzakalani umuntu manga mekungena abantu aba-advocateayo when there are no people praying for you, when there's no one standing in the gap. Nizobona guys, letlobona. I mean, can you imagine ha nna nka tloswa tseleng thapelo ya ka ya tloga nkebe ho etsa tseng mo jarateng? First and foremost, because she was her first target because she was my source of provision. And then you were gonna go after Usiswam. Naked like a deboned chicken on a plate. Empty hollow. One thing, if at all the restrainer was not here. That's why we need the tribulation, because you are that dastardly. Mind you, with these videos, so as to help you understand that I'm going home and the rapture we're leaving. You know that child with, I don't even know what his speciality is on YouTube, but he does, he's very famous. I only know about him because he was covered on a Christian channel. Because David Lynn Archer tried to give him the gospel and he passed him shade. His name is I Show Speed. I had a dream of I Show Speed walking around in the streets, and then all of a sudden Wavela on his body. Armament, as in shield of faith, helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, basically the full armor of God. He just wore it. He wasn't expecting it's like he was given that armament and was told hambiolwa, and he didn't resist it. Bamo beile amamente azang I resista. I He was called and he immediately responded. He was put on an armor of God. Why respond? Lo, I show speed when. I mean, that leaves time to be proven as prophecy. Do you understand? If at all among the people who get born again because of the rapture is a young man in the US by the name of I show speed, then you know I've been sent by the Lord. Bamobile vestige. Resist. So all of y'all are rebellious who were given this level of gospel, and you rejected it and resisted and played games and danced around on some heads, and yet somebody gets called and within a matter of hours is just running the gospel truth because he was finally successfully explained the gospel to in a way that he could understand and then ran with it. He comes from a Christian background, but carried away, has entered into Islam and all these weird things because Christians keep covering him. That's the only reason I know about him. I don't even know what he does. I just know he's a famous child. Well, kid. He's young, very young, maybe early 20s, maybe even teens, I don't know. He's just a kid. And I dreamt about him wearing full armor. Okay, so you 40-year-old that has been sitting in front of Christian ministries blocking us, shadow banning us, what is your excuse? If I show speed response simply because the rapture happened, I don't care about you. You can't take everything you want, your bread buttered on both sides, have your cake and eat it too, because kunabantu, that if at all you had not blocked messages like mine, they would have repented without them having to be left behind. What you did is make sure that more people enter the tribulation than is absolutely necessary. But at the same time, were they not Nazareth? They were. So because they were Nazareth, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? It absolutely in these streets makes sense that God is not going to be willing to perform as many miracles in Nazareth because, like, whatever. You don't like me, so I'm not going to show my power. The tribulation's coming. Get that. Parable of the dishonest manager. Let me read this parable. I am exhausted. It's 9:25 in the morning. I've been speaking literally for hours. I'm just bushed, but I'm closing. Parable of the dishonest manager. He also said to the disciples, there was a rich man who had a manager, and charges were brought to him that this man was wasting his possessions. That's what you're doing right now with us as the body of Christ. And he called him and said to him, what is this that I hear about you? Turn in the account of your management, for you can no longer be manager. You will be uprooted. And the manager said to himself, what shall I do? Since my master is taking the management away from me, I am not strong enough to dig, and I'm not ashamed, and I'm too ashamed to beg. So basically, this guy, he's not stewarding God's possessions. And then God says, I'm taking away your jobs. I told you this guy's losing for him. He's losing vats of wealth coming in because of intercessory prayer, blocking his success in satanic rituals that bring wealth. That's this guy. Ne? I also spoke in my other video saying that these people in the occult are lazy. They don't want to work for themselves. They want other people to grind and work, and then they take our work and they make wealth for themselves. They want to sit back and do nothing while they amass wealth. You're not stewarding, therefore, on that day, resources and people. And God one day just takes all that away from you. And then you say to yourself, but I haven't gained skills, because why would I need to gain skills when I just do wealth transfers? I don't know how to dig. I don't know how to ABC. So then you start to come up with shrewd ways to steal the money of your boss. Now that your boss has taken away your possessions, God, he has taken away your leadership over the situation. You then trick everyone that owes your boss money and say that, give your boss, sorry, how much do you owe my boss? 10,000. Okay, write me a note for 8,000 and I'll run with it. And then on the other side, how much do you owe my boss? 20,000. Give me 18 so that you can steal your manager's money. Run away with it. That is your end run on judgment and having the walls close in on you. You become more shoddy, more underhanded. You steal more epically with grander. What is the word that I'm looking for? You steal more epically with grander bravado, and then you start to demand things like, put Karabo in my house so she can pray for me, so no other occult practitioner can steal my money, but I'm gonna be able to steal their money. That's you saying, give me 18,000 rands when you owe my boss 20, so the money will never go to the boss. I'm gonna steal it because I don't know how to dig a trench. You will be cast into the outer darkness, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth in that place. God doesn't take prisoners.